Hello, all, and welcome to the very first episode of TV and Us, a conversation show about the TV series we just can't stop talking about. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
Each season, we focus on a different show, reviewing it episode by episode, and we invite you to watch along with us. Today, we are reviewing Succession Season 4, and we are on Episode 1, The Munster. If you haven't watched it yet, this is your spoiler alert. Please check it out before continuing to listen to the rest of this episode. All right, Sarah, kick us off with a summary for Episode 1.
As Kendall, Shiv, and Roman hone their pitch for investors in LA, Logan learns of a rival bid on a long-coveted acquisition.
All right. And since it's the first episode, we are starting new traditions. So we are kicking off our episode with our own version of what we think the title of this episode should be. So Sarah, what would you name Episode 1 of Succession Season 4?
I would name this episode Economic Units.
Nice. That's what we are as people, right?
Yes, that is all we are. We are nothing more than economic units. So thank you, Logan Roy, for that little gem.
Gem of wisdom.
Yep.
Yes. The episode title that I would give this is No One Has a Good Joke for Logan.
Nice. Yeah. No, he is not feeling
it.
any of it.
He's roughing it this episode. Yes. Okay, so let's start off with our initial thoughts of Episode 1. What did you think? How does it feel to be back in the world of the Roy family?
Honestly, it feels so good to be watching Succession again. This show is
Comforting
so
for you?
good.
Safe
Oh
for
my
you?
gosh. It is it's up there. It's one of the best written shows that's currently on tour. But like in my mind, I put it in a similar category as like Breaking Bad. Like it is just so well written from start to finish. Hopefully this season will finish well, so we'll see. But so far it's been such high caliber and I'm just so happy to be back.
Back with this chaotic family. Yes.
Yes. This episode to me felt like wading back into the Succession pool. It didn't seem like anything particularly dramatic or crazy happened, but it was just a good time to remember where we left off at the end of season 3, because it's been a while since I watched season 3. So it was just nice to experience these characters again, remember where we are in the story, to experience some shady business dealings and just the awkwardness of the family. And now I'm ready for some craziness to happen. Like I'm back in the Succession world and I'm ready for stuff to go wrong. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to someone about this episode the other day, and they were like, yeah, I feel like the first 2 episodes haven't been as strong, or the first episode hasn't been as strong. And I was like, oh, well, interesting. I think we're laying the foundations. It's the equivalent of like Star Wars rebooting after like 2 decades. You know, like we just need to lay the foundation for them to build and build and build, because they have a tough task, which is to end the show. This is the final season. So whatever ending we get has got to be out of this world. And I do not envy that task. But my experience of episode 1, I think, was unique because I had not finished the previous season 3 beforehand. I think I trickled off halfway through. I don't know how I finished, but I ended up watching the second half of season 3 those several days leading up to this episode. And it was really fascinating to see the way that there's a lot of dynamics that have decidedly shifted from where we left off in the finale of season 3 and where we begin this season. It feels like a new page is turned and we're like in a new phase, in a new era. So I thought that was really smart. There's a lot of like key relational dynamics that are very different. So we are ushered into kind of this new chapter with this family.
Yeah, it's so different, and yet there's still so much that's the same. So it's kind of cool to see how characters have changed, and yet they still find themselves in such similar situations, making
Mhm.
the same decisions that they were a season or 2 ago.
Yes. Yep. Yep. So, what were some of the moments that really stood out to you, or that worked really well for you?
One of the things that I loved is, the dynamic between Roman, Kendall, and Shiv.
Mhm.
Um, I think Roman and his evolution of as a character is fascinating
Mm.
because,
Why
I
so?
mean, he's hilarious. Love him because of
It's the
his
best lines.
ability to use swearing in the most creative ways I've ever heard in my life. He's incredible. But he started as this little kid, this kind of like playboy, like doesn't know anything, total screw up. Like that was really kind of how he started. And so then to see him in this episode, he is the one who is pursuing this new venture. He is getting investors together. He is working with the design team to get the logo correct. And he is the one who is wanting to start something new with his siblings. And he is like spearheading this thing. And Shiv and Kendall, who are supposed to be like more of the adults in the room, and like Kendall was the heir apparent and supposed to have all of this business savvy, and Shiv is this like political operative who's worldly and knows all these things. And those two get into a situation that costs the three of them a bunch of money, and they get sucked into this feud with their dad again when Roman is actually being the adult and like trying to get them to do something else. So I loved that this whole thing, like, even though I not a lot that's explosive happens in this episode, you can see how these characters have shifted, and I'm just so interested to see how they continue to change over the course of this final season.
Yeah, there's a really great moment where they are in this bidding war, and um, Shiv and Kendall are like so ready to just like continue to shell out the dollars. And you can see their ego and their pride. Like they just want to screw over their dad and they want to screw over Tom. I think Roman has a line where he's like, "You want to screw over dad, you want to screw over Tom, and I'm just out here trying to start a business. So I'm getting dragged into all of this." But they are agreeing to pay more and more and more. And to your point, Roman's the one that's like, "Hey, do you realize that this is like $500 million of a difference between 9.5 and 10 bill that we could spend investing or acquiring and putting that into our business? Like, are we really just going for it?" And there's this sensibility that he has that I think I would argue he's the most mature right now out of all of them. He's the most
Absolutely.
level-headed, the most grounded, but partially because he has less of these emotional stakes and vendettas to go chase down too. So, um, I I have always loved Roman as one of my favorite characters on the show. I am hopeful that we will see the rise of Roman through the season because I think he's so savvy, but he's often been like playing behind the scenes and just observing and watching things unfold, striking when the moment of opportunity comes, knowing when to hang back. Like he's incredibly wise and strategic. And I think a lot of people are overlooking him. So I'm excited that he's the underdog. And I would love to see the rise of Roman in this season.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it too. I have often underestimated him because
He's the
Shiv
fool.
is my girl, and
Yeah.
I'm always rooting for her. But this episode really made me go like, "Oh, Roman. Okay. All right. I'm
Hmm.
here for this version of Roman. I think that's going to be really really fun."
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be really good. Really, really great. Um, Okay, other noteworthy things that have happened in this episode. One thing that I thought was just again, I think you brought up a point around like the writing of this show is just so stellar. But it's so poetic that we start season 1 with Logan Roy's birthday party and we start season 4, the final season, also with his birthday party. And so much about these dynamics and relationships have changed significantly since season 1, but the way that that book ends the beginning and at the beginning of the end of the show, I just thought was so poetic. So it's one of those little moments where I'm like, ah, I see what you're doing. Very smart indeed.
Yeah, we love a bit of symmetry in writing. It's
Mm-hmm.
so satisfying.
It's so great. And the mood and the dynamic of that birthday party is also so different. Like I think in
Yeah.
season 1, episode 1, we see all of the siblings like groveling for Logan's attention. And now the siblings have banded together. Like there is such a big change in teams that have happened. Even honestly, for most of the first 3 seasons, we see the siblings sparring with each other, and we are in this new era of like, what is the show going to do with this shift in teams now? Where we've got Team Logan and his entourage of folks in their like wood paneled room, and then we've got these like scrappy youngins that are just like excited and ready to go for it. And who will betray the others and go back to the other side? I think will be fun to see.
Everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody's gonna betray everybody else, and it's gonna be great. I have my popcorn. I'm ready.
Mhm, mhm. Well, and I think one of the things that's just exciting about the fact that the show has committed to this being its last season is there's now all of this suspense about how is this show going to write this ending. For the past 3 seasons, we've had this large looming question that the show's teased again and again, which is who will ultimately take over. And we see them all fighting for it. And how is this show going to write itself out of that, into that, make it satisfying? Like I'm just really intrigued to see how that's all going to blow up in a fireworks finale.
Yeah, yeah, because it really is an impossible task. Because
Right?
I feel like I don't know there are a million ways ending the show can go wrong, and so I'm very excited to see how the groundwork is laid for whatever it is they end up doing.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. And there's this show so far has been so, yes, character driven, but also incredibly plot driven in how it creates these setups and payoffs. And so it'll be fun on our journey to see and predict and try and guess where this is going to go. It's a
Hmm.
tough task.
It
It's
is
also
a
just
tough task.
wise for them to know we're not going to keep dragging this out and just get worse and worse in our writing and our plot.
Oh, I am so
Please.
happy because I don't like
You have a soapbox. Get on the
I
soapbox,
do
Sarah.
have a soapbox. Oh my gosh. So my attention span is so short that I 6 seasons of a show is like my max that I can watch. Um, and then I just lose absolute interest in it. And I feel like there's usually something ar- between seasons 4 and 6 where like the writing takes a significant nosedive. Not always, but a lot of the time things go wrong in that span of time. So I love that Succession is like, nope, 4 seasons, that's it, and we're done. And I feel like those are the best shows because they know what they're trying to communicate and they will do it and then they're done. We don't need to drag this on for another 10 seasons just because we can make more money. Like, no. This is the story. It's going to be 4 seasons. It's going to be tight. It's going to be well written, well executed, and that's it. We can savor 4 gloriously made seasons rather than being satisfied for like 3 of them and then being disappointed for an additional however many.
Mhm.
I love that there's only 4. It's amazing.
They've chosen art over commerce. A rare moment. Let's
A
celebrate
rare
this
moment
moment. Let's
indeed.
celebrate. Yeah. I mean, you're right. A lot of shows will drag it on for 8, 9, 10 seasons, and they're like, just you can tell they're grasping for some kind of dramatic thing, some dramatic plot point. A long lost family member shows up and like just grasping for straws. And uh, the wisdom of the show to be like, no, we know we're great. You will savor this, and we're out. So smart.
Hmm. And savor it we will. We're gonna enjoy every ounce of this 4th season.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Other things that were noteworthy.
I I was a little surprised um at Shiv and Tom's,
Yes.
like,
Yep, I was gonna go there next too.
that divorce conversation, like, uh, the divorce was coming, like, that wasn't a surprise to me, but I expected that to be more of a bomb that was dropped, and I expected that to be more, like, dramatic, and it was so subtle and it was so subdued, um, that it really it took me by surprise. It was fitting and it felt natural, but it is not at all what I expected.
There was this moment when the episode ended too, and there's that shot of them just in silence with their hands held together. I was like, "This is incredibly emotional," and I don't know that I've seen the show get this like, really dig into some of that really, like, meaty emotions before. I mean, this show is incredibly emotional in many other ways, and it's a whirlwind, but there's something that's, like, really deep and, like, kind of a raw and real about the way that they handled that whole scene and that conversation, um, that felt so decidedly different from most of the, like, dynamics that we see play out between a lot of the characters and the moments we see throughout the rest of the 3 seasons, like, in a lot of ways, this show is incredibly comical, there's a lot of hilarious moments, and there's some dramatic tension, but something that, like, cut that deep, I was surprised. I was really surprised.
Mhm, and I just so appreciated, Sarah Snook's performance as
Mhm.
Shiv in that specifically, because we've seen her, like, she can be cutthroat, she is direct, she goes after what she wants, and she gets what she wants, like, she's a very, um, strong-willed woman, and she's amazing, she's my favorite, she's the best. But I loved that moment of tenderness and that vulnerability, and you can see, like, she is choosing this course, but there's a part of her that is heartbroken because of this situation at the same time, and I also love that she's experiencing this tenderness and this vulnerability, but she's also hiding it from Tom at the same time, and so it was all of these conflicting emotions that are happening all at once, and it was a whirlwind of emotions, but not in the way that we're used to, like you said. So it was something different, and that's exciting to me.
Yeah, we've never really seen that on the show before. Like, man, there's a great moment between them where Tom being Tom, just so wearing his heart on his sleeve is like that would make me sad. And there's this like quiet pause, and she goes, "Sure." And I was like, "Oh, that one sure with the close up on her face just cut so deep." But yeah, it's something that this show does really well, which is that half the time, anything the characters are saying, they don't mean, and we know that, and they might not know, or they do know, but like no one is saying how they feel ever. No one is straightforward, which makes this show just ingenious and so thrilling to watch because we then have to pay attention to what we know about these people and where their desires and motivations and ambitions are, and it's thrilling when there is that tension between what's coming out of their mouth and what we know their desires actually are.
And I love the subtle tension too. We're used to the big explosions and the, like Jerry Springer-esque moments, but this was a subtle moment of tension. I wonder
Yeah.
if we're gonna get more things like that in this season.
Well, it makes me wonder that this being such a cornerstone, it's probably like one of the like most notable moments from episode 1 to me. Um I wonder if it's like what is this setting up for? Like clearly there's something about their dynamic, their relationship, their history, the way that this unfolded that may play a role at some point, um, and will be built on. because otherwise, like, why give this so much attention? I think there's a whole like 10-15 minutes to that ending scene. And we get the like high action of the rest of the episode, but really it ends so quietly, like you mentioned, and so emotionally that that feels incredibly significant.
And their relationship has been like a main consistent focus for the entire show too. You know, their wedding was such a pivotal moment. Even their dating relationship before that was important. So it'll be interesting to see. And obviously, we're not sure the pacing of this season, but uh, see what their relationship will look like post divorce. You know, I would be really interested to see how their dynamic shifts even further from where it is now.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And how Logan leverages that to do what he needs to do to get
Hmm.
the information that he needs, you know, like he's got Tom wrapped around his finger and he's a key player. He's a key player. And I feel like Logan's going to use that somehow.
Oh, absolutely. Logan is the best at that. He's great.
One of my favorite moments in this episode is when they're in the middle of this like high stakes $10 billion bidding war and Logan turns to his like middle-aged older colleagues that are like really his little entourage and he's asking for them to tell him a joke and to roast him. I just love that whole sequence so much. It was so funny. And then just such a classic. I feel like this moment is so representative of who Greg is as a person and the level of lack of EQ that he has, but he goes, "Where's all your kids, Uncle Logan?" You're just like, "Oh, wow. Greg, just so out of touch, but like really trying. He's shooting a shot. He's really trying to fulfill this request from his uncle, but man, it's like that lack of understanding about what is a roast and what makes a good roast and the, like, social dynamics at play there that I just feel like was such a great representative Greg moment as well.
I was ready for Logan to just lose it. Like you could tell that he was so frustrated, and it was like, I don't know, it was like this like minor lashing out in this weird way to like dominate the room and make everybody feel uncomfortable. Um but I just wanted him to like lose it on Greg, but he didn't. And so then I was sad and feeling awkward.
Yes. All of them dodging, like, pulling out their phones, just,
Oh, it was so good.
"Don't ask me, don't ask me." They all got nothing too.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved them all trying to not play the game. It was so good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
They
think
know
it just
what's
is
up.
it's so representative of the power dynamic at play here, you know? Like, there is no level of comfort to roast Logan in this way. Not in this moment either. You know, this like high stress, high stakes moment for him for this acquisition that he's been pining after for the entire previous season. Like, ain't nobody trying to track any jokes. I would be terrified, shaking in my boots.
Uh-huh. And you know that Logan fully understands that. And so it's like, well, let me have a little fun right now while we're waiting.
Yes.
It was
It's
great.
a great indicative Logan moment as well. Just this weird sense of glee that he has from seeing everyone squirm in their seats.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? You got all this
Right.
money, you don't got a lot of family, you got a bunch of people who are gonna just do whatever you say. All right, let's make them uncomfortable.
Yep. Yep. And then we've got Nan Pierce just playing both sides like a fiddle. So
Oh,
good.
yes.
Take your money and leave, you know, pit them against each other.
Yes.
So strategic.
Yeah, Nan is the best.
Mhm,
She's a fave, and I love that she is such a foil to Logan,
mhm.
and yet she plays the game so well. You
Yep.
know, she does things the opposite way, but she excels at them, and that's incredible.
Mhm,
She's great.
mhm.
Plus Cherry Jones, is just a gem, and I love it when she's in things. So I was so pleased when Nan was doing all of the stuff she was doing. It's like, yeah, you make your money.
Well, and you can also see that she knows how to play both sides and play this push and pull game with them. Like when they show up, she's like, "Oh no, we're not taking any deals. We've got it locked in. We have a great offer." And then you see her then play the other side with Logan. It's just watching the intricacies of that unfold is so juicy.
She is a pro.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, other noteworthy things from episode 1. Curiosities, questions, things that
I
stood
think
out.
that those are the biggest things, honestly.
Mhm.
Probably the only other thing that we didn't talk about was Connor.
Yes.
Do you have thoughts and feels about Connor?
I just am constantly frustrated by Connor and Willa. I wanna see them just explode in some way because they're there for comedic relief in a lot of ways. But there's this moment in the tail end, I think it was in the finale of season 3, where Connor blows up and he's like, "I am the eldest son." And I was like, "Okay, I love this. I love the side of Connor." He's just such a fool, but man, I struggle with them every time they're on screen. I'm just frustrated.
That's so funny.
I need them to do something.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think the only reason why Connor doesn't frustrate me is because he's played by Alan Ruck, who was Cameron in Ferris Bueller's Day Out, and so he just is endearing to me because of the actor, not because of the character. Um, but yeah, I am so interested with what they do with Connor, and I want
Right?
something to go just absolutely bonkers
Mhm. Yes. Yes.
because he is such an interesting character. So I want
Mhm.
to see more of him.
Yep. Yep. That's the fun thing about this being the final season. It's just like every character is going to have something decidedly noteworthy that happens in their arc. They've got to, and it's all going to collide into each other, with all of these humans and their desires and ambitions are all going to come colliding and crashing together. We just get to watch and see the fireworks display.
Oh, what more could you ask for?
Hmm. But you bring up an interesting point, which is that characters like Connor, Willa, Greg, too, they serve as such um, colors and textures that contrast with Kendall, Shiv, Roman, Tom, even that are like traditionally that like strategic, ambitious, go getter type of personalities that are like in with it and get it. And then you see these other characters on the side that are surviving in this world in their own ways. But their strategy and their dynamic is just so different. So, like, this show would be exhausting if we had only like the three Roy siblings just battling it out, right? Like, we need that
Mhm.
those moments with Greg being a fool and Connor and Willa being ridiculous. It adds these really interesting texture points. Um, I want to see them really influence and like change the dynamics of this battle that's going on. Like they're in their small way. I want them to play a little role and have a hand in it.
Yeah, we will find out
Yes.
what these like secondary characters are going to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
What chaos and havoc will they wreak in season 4?
Yes. Our journey has just begun.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
I know, right? Okay. So as we wrap up our episode, we are going to give out some love, give out some awards. This is our first ever TVNS awards show where we have some rapid fire questions where we're giving these accolades out to some of the moments and characters from this episode. You ready? This is gonna be the fastest award show that you've ever experienced.
Oh, I am ready.
All right. So we've got the first one, best insult from the episode. What did you pick, Sarah?
I chose an exchange from Roman,
I'm
of
just
course,
excited to hear you
my guy.
say these out loud.
He says to Shiv, "You look tired and your face is giving me a headache." And that made me laugh so hard.
I
It's
love
so
that
good.
line.
And I think it's the first thing that he says to her. And I was like, this is perfect. I want nothing else from you.
But you know what's great about that line is that it's like oddly endearing too. You
Oh,
know, it's
absolutely.
like they only because they know each other so well that they can spar, and that's why I loved it. This is why Roman is just an endearing and problematic small human. Um, my choice was also a Roman line,
Nice.
uh, and it's Roman talking to the investors for the 100 near the beginning of the episode too, and he says, talking about the investors for the 100, he says, "Tell them they can shove their petrodollars up their human rights record." Just
Yes. I wrote that one down too.
poetry right there, poetry. Oh man. Okay, second accolade we're giving out today is who you would say, in your judgment, has won the episode and why. Who has won?
The winner for me is Nan because
Ah.
she made a ton of money and screwed over Logan and the
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
She messed everybody up and she got even more rich. And I think that's a big fat win.
I mean, anytime you walk away with 10 bill, I would say you
Hello?
automatically win the episode.
Yes, you are a winner.
That's true. Okay, so my choice for who won the episode is Kendall.
Oh,
Because,
interesting.
as I mentioned, I just finished season 3. Like right off, I literally finished season 3 and went straight into this episode. And if you remember at the end of the season 3 finale, Kendall is just like, he thinks he's out of the game, you know? Like he is in such a downtrodden spot, so discouraged, so hopeless. He's tried to screw over his dad the entire season 3 and was unsuccessful. But you see him at the beginning of this episode just like back in the game, you know, like he's got his, what is it, 5% share of the company or whatnot that makes him valuable to his two siblings. So he's kind of got the second chance to like go for it and be a player in all of this. So I would say Kendall being back on the horse and included and part of this game, he's winning.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good job, Kendall. All right. Best power move. Who would you give the award to?
I would also give this one to Nan because she worked the hell out of both groups in order to get what she wanted.
Yes.
And that is
really
a
did.
power move.
She's dominating this episode.
Oh,
Absolutely
it was
dominating.
so good. I was so pleased.
Well, it's also just such smart writing because you see how much Logan wanted that throughout the previous season.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she's just like, sorry, we give it to your kids.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was great.
My choice for the best power move is Logan using Tom to get to the kids, to get to
Nice.
Shiv.
Yes. Brilliant.
And letting Tom think that he's kind of in this inner circle with him, you know, just genius. Absolutely genius. So I'm excited to see how that dynamic plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and
Yeah.
Logan.
Yes, that will be fun. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Tom, that's really cute that you think that like you're in. Have you
Yeah,
not been
right?
paying attention the last 3 seasons? Have you met Logan?
Well, and just like the absolute like foolishness of him explicitly asking Logan, like, if my marriage falls apart, like, we still good? And Logan just and completely dodges the question. Like, no tact at all from Tom. Absolutely
Yeah,
none.
he is a moron.
He really
So
is.
that'll be fun.
Okay, and then we will wrap up this episode with what you hope to see in the next episode or episodes. What are you hoping for? What do you want to see unfold?
So I have like a higher level one, and then I have a more like immediate one.
Okay.
My higher level one is I want to see Kendall sober and doing something not at all involved with his dad, which
Oh,
is never going to
that's
happen because
so
of
earnest.
what this show is. But I just
He's been
Kendall,
through a lot.
he has been through a lot, and I find him so endearing, and I want to take him away to a little place where he can just be safe and like heal and like be a whole human
Yeah.
and not have to be a Roy and not have to be Logan's heir. Like I want to put him in a little bubble.
So you would argue actually that Kendall has lost this episode because he is now dragged back into
Yes,
the game.
I
Yes.
absolutely would. I want Kendall to get very far
Well,
away from his
just
family.
well.
I want him to get well. I really do.
That's so
But
earnest. Your
it's
dreams
never
are not going to come true, Sarah.
it's never going to happen in this show, and I know that
No.
I will be disappointed, and it's fine. But
Mhm.
that's what I really want for Kendall. But so that's my
Mhm.
big thing that I would love to see. But in the next
Wow.
couple episodes, and we already hit on this a little bit, but I want to see Willa and Connor's wedding be a complete train wreck of hilarity. Like I
Yes.
just want utter foolishness and mayhem. That's what I want.
Mhm. I love it. I mean, he's planning for some mayhem, you
He
know?
sure is.
Okay, so along the same veins, one of the things I jotted down was I just want to see Willa snap at him. She's
Yes.
so willing to go along with his just chaos, the chaos that is Connor. Like she is so subservient to him and playing the role. And you can see this like frustration budding within her. And I just think it would be satisfying and entertaining to watch her snap. I want to see in general the rise of Roman. I'm gonna say it every
Yes.
episode till it happens.
I love it.
I want to see the
Yes.
rise of Roman.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm hoping next episode we get to see the siblings begin to bicker. It's the most fun when they're bickering. I would like some betrayals. I would like some bickering to happen. Some cracks begin to develop. And they will. They will.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the show, they will.
Oh yeah.
This was so happy-go-lucky of them all just like bonded together and collaborating. This rare moment in time. But I'm ready for it to fall apart now.
Oh yeah, and it's primed too because they
Yes.
just got
Stupid
this
Major.
company from out from under their dad, and they paid way more money than they should have,
Yep.
probably more money than they have, and so they're going to be under some stress, and so things are going to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
And specifically how Logan's going to manipulate them to
Oh
like
yeah.
come to his side, lure them over.
Mm.
It's gonna
And
be great.
who is he going to lure?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how is he going to do this? Ugh, so
Well, it's
interesting.
going to be fun because I think they're all going to start to get really paranoid with each other, which is going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that would
So
make
seeds
sense.
of doubt.
Mm. Good stuff.
I know, right? And that wraps up the award show. Couple minutes. Look at that.
It was a really fast award show. I'm impressed with us.
Compared to the 3 hours and 40-minute Oscar
well,
awards.
It doesn't need to take that long.
No, it doesn't. Rapid fire.
Let's be efficient with our awards,
Yes.
people.
Any other last thoughts before we wrap up? Hit it all?
Yeah, I am just so happy to be back in the world of Succession. It's a great time.
Is this soothing for you?
I don't think soothing is the word, but enjoyable.
Thrilling.
That is a good
Back
word.
in this world.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm just cracking up at you telling me about how you binged season 1 in one weekend, and you were like,
it was too much.
It put me in a really weird headspace
sure
with all these conniving, manipulative humans. Yeah.
So I would recommend not watching an entire season of Succession in a weekend.
Maybe not.
It messes with you a little bit. It's a great time. It's a great roller coaster, but you don't want to be that deep in this world, I don't think.
No, I don't know if it makes you a better person when you emerge out of that weekend.
No,
Perhaps
sure doesn't.
Perhaps not. All right. Well, this is our review and discussion of episode 1. You can find it available on HBO Max. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of TV and Us. Our name sums it up. We're big fans of TV, which is a powerful way we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories. Everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad that you hung out with us today as we continue our journey through the world of Succession, and specifically with season 4. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you tune into your favorite shows. Drop us a review letting us know your thoughts about episode 1. You can connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at tvnspod, or you can email us at tvanduspod@gmail.com. We will be back very soon to discuss episode 2. Very excited about that. Well, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see you